What's happening, everyone? JayShockblast here, and check it out. Like all you, I am super excited for September 4th. Marvel's Avengers will be coming out on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and we're all thinking about who's next. We already have 6 characters that we know for sure are in the game, with Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Black Widow, and Miss Marvel. And we've seen teases of Hawkeye, Hank Pym, whether he be Ant-Man, Yellow Jacket, whatever it may be, and Captain Marvel. So we know that they're going to be adding new characters over time. We don't know if this is a monthly thing, a quarterly thing. You know, we don't know. We don't know if they're going to release like 3 characters at a time. What it may be, I don't know. Hopefully it's something where we get into a flow where it's at least every other month, and that has the wheels turning. There are a lot of people who have been in the Avengers, and I wanted to come up with my top 10 characters I would like to see playable in Marvel's Avengers. Now, who is an Avenger? There are a lot of side teams. You've got the West Coast Avengers, you've got the Secret Avengers, you've got the Savage Avengers, you've even got the Dark Avengers. So who qualifies for that? I think that's up for debate. I didn't consider the Savage Avengers, which is a more recent version, simply because I haven't read it, and I don't know, I wasn't going to pick Conan or anyone from that group anyway. So but I did consider like Secret Avengers and stuff like that. So and I also considered characters that were kind of like standby members, not necessarily full-blown members. But anyway, I want to talk about my top 10 list. I didn't consider the 3 characters I mentioned earlier because I think it's a waste, because I think they're obviously going to be in the game, that being Carol Danvers, Hank Pym, and Clint Barton. So without any further ado, let's start off with number 10. I have Black Knight Dane Whitman. I just think he would be really cool, really different, having the sword come into play. We've got him linked to a couple different, possible movie situations, especially with the Eternals being played by Kit Harington, aka Jon Snow. And I would love to see him in the game. I think it'd look cool, and I think it'd be a really great translation into something different about the gameplay. At number 9, I have Blue Marvel, who is a really powerful character. We've seen him in Marvel Future Fight. We've seen him in Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. And now I would love to see him get some shine in Marvel's Avengers. Maybe not right away, maybe as a character down the line. But I think he's just a really powerful cosmic character, and I do tend to really love the cosmic characters. I know that he's been more part of Carol Danvers' crew with the Ultimates and stuff like that, but he's also an Avenger, and I think it would be cool to get him another flying character. I love flying characters. So number 9, Blue Marvel. At number 8, might come to a surprise as you, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Sam Alexander, aka Fake Little Nova, okay? Because at the end of the day, he is a Nova, and I love the Nova. Maybe not this Nova quite as much, but I still wouldn't mind playing as him. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but it seems like an obvious thing. He is a member of the Avengers, and I don't know, like he literally warned everybody that Infinity was coming, like at the beginning of that storyline. So yeah, Sam Alexander. At number 7, this might seem a little obvious, but I think there's a great way to introduce him, and that is Black Panther. T'Challa obviously is a big part of the Avenger mythos, and he is a big part of the MCU, and we're going to be getting a Black Panther 2 movie at some point. So when we saw the war table, we saw that there are missions all over the globe, and what better way to bring in T'Challa than to have an African expansion where you have missions not just in Wakanda but all over Africa. You can have Egypt missions, you can have Nigeria, you can have South Africa, wherever it may be. You can have a lot of different opportunities throughout Africa to have different regions of the country And I just think that would be perfect, and I think that would be the perfect way to bring him in, is doing that. I mean, I know that he's a global character and he can be involved in missions everywhere, but you don't really have a ton of characters from Africa to dip into, especially when it comes to the Avengers. So, I mean, this is a perfect thing, and I would love to see it. I think it would be really cool. So, number 7, Black Panther. At number 6, we have Scarlet Witch, and there's a part of me that probably wants her to be a lot higher. She's honestly probably one of the top 2 or 3 most powerful members of the Avengers, which says a lot considering we have Thor and Hulk and Captain Marvel amongst others. I mean, with like a few words, she said no more mutants, 3 words, and mutants were gone. So I mean, it doesn't get much more powerful than that. I think she'd be very interesting to play as, and you know, maybe a lot of people are gonna have her higher, but when you see my top 3, I mean, even my top 4, it's gonna be pretty obvious why I didn't put her higher. But I don't know. I do want to play as her. I think she'd be really cool. So that's why I have her at number 6. At number 5, we have Agent Venom Flash Thompson. I just think it'd be kind of cool to have a symbiote in his style. You know, we've played as Spider-Man plenty of times, and you know, I just think he's a different kind of symbiote. You know, he's got the guns. You can have him as the Space Knight version, or you can have him as just your typical soldier version. It would be really interesting to kind of work in the gunplay with the symbiote. So that is why I wanted Flash Thompson instead of, you know, Miles Morales or, you know, Peter Parker, characters we've played before. I want to play as Agent Venom in this game. So that is why he is at number 5. At number 4, we have Moon Knight, and I love Moon Knight. There's no 2 ways around it. I think he would be far more interesting to get his own game than someone like Daredevil. I think he's just way more interesting. Think of everything you love about Daredevil, now make him psychotic, have eyesight, and have to be at the whim of a ancient god, Khonshu. I mean, Moon Knight is basically Marvel's Batman. I know that's controversial. Some people are like, no, he's not. He is. Get over it. He's number 4. I want to play as Moon Knight. Number 3, this is where I start to get selfish. Okay, look, I understand this character has 0 chance of ever being in this game, but I want him to be anyway. It's my list. Darkhawk. That's right. Freaking Darkhawk would be dope. There's so many possibilities, especially with the gear system, because one of Darkhawk's powers that he learns over time is that he can shift his armor into whatever he needs. So he can go like 15 guns on his back, bazooka style, or he can, you know, fashion his arm into a shiv or a long sword, whatever it may be. I mean, he's kind of in a way like Iron Man, and I guess in that regard, Iron Man's already in the game, but I don't know. Like, it's one of my favorite characters. He's always been one of my favorite characters, which should mean that you're not going to be shocked at all at number 2, especially considering when Lego Marvel's Avengers came out, I made a whole video about how Deadpool is a card-carrying member of the Avengers. He actually financed the Avengers for a little while. That's when he started his whole Mercs for Money program. There's been some really cool Deadpool stories. I know he's had his own video game, and honestly, I'd rather him have his own video game, but I think he would be very popular, honestly. He's one of the most popular Marvel characters right now, and I think it would be really cool to work him into this because it's a little bit different than having his own game. In this game, he would have to be trying to fit in as an Avenger, and it would be a little bit different. There'd be a little bit of a different dynamic. He would interact with everybody a little bit differently. So I would love to see that kind of work its way into this game, and I think it'd be honestly just a lot of fun. I know he's not known for being an Avenger, and that is where things get a little dicey, but literally his card is signed by Captain America. He's an Avenger, for better or worse, for now until all time. So that is why I want him at number 2. Number 1, honestly, I'm a little disappointed if you follow me for any length of time and you don't know who my number one is. My number one is the one and only Nova, Richard Ryder. And, you know I already said Sam Alexander earlier. Obviously, I want Rich ahead of Sam, and that's why I reference, you'll find out later. Like, if it's one or the other, I want Rich, get rid of Sam, I don't care. Now, Ryder was part of the Secret Avengers. I literally have a poster on my wall that shows him, Moon Knight, Black Widow, War Machine, and Captain America and Valkyrie as part of that team. I mean, who wouldn't want to play as Rich Ryder in this game? He's so dope. He would be able to fly. He's got the whole power of Worldbind. I mean, he's one of the fastest characters in the entire Marvel Universe. He's got just amazing, you know, powers, like energy powers. Like, it'd be really cool to play as him in a more realistic game that isn't a fighting game. I know that it's a pipe dream. I understand that my list, you know, Scarlet Witch, Black Panther, and maybe Moon Knight are the only characters that have a chance. But I want to get my voice out there. I want to, like, say, hey, look, this is what I want. Maybe some of you guys want it too. You leave comments. Maybe they read it, and maybe they say, oh, interesting, never thought of that. Let's do it. Obviously, you know, I didn't say Daredevil or Spider-Man or a lot of very obvious characters, Vision, Doctor Strange. I don't not want them, but, like, I've done stuff with them in a lot of games, okay? Like, these characters are all characters that are members of the Avengers that I think it would be really cool to play as in this type of game, and that's obviously why they're on my list. I'm super stoked to play as Thor. I'm super stoked to play as Iron Man. I'm actually really interested to play as Miss Marvel, so I mean, it's gonna be a really cool game. I can't wait for it. I'm so excited. Who are the characters, you don't have to do 10, but who are the characters that have not been announced as part of this game that you would love to play as in Marvel's Avengers? I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see ya.